Regler auf. Gut. Good morning, everybody. Sorry for being 37 seconds late, but I hope we can catch up this delay later on. Hope you're doing well. Hope you enjoyed yesterday. Hope you enjoyed the conference till now. So we're covering use cases today, and I think that's very, very important, and that's even a big part of this year's conference, to go more into practical use cases than in theoretical ones. And the first speaker today is Nikolaos Kalivianakis. I'm allowed to call him Nico. Thank you so much, therefore. And he's the Director Business Solutions, and he says from concept to reality. Thank you so much for this headline, because that's the best headline you can choose for an editor. From concept to reality, exploring 5G and digital services for business success, and success can never be bad. So welcome, Nico. Oh, he's just here.
Thank you very much. Okay, you can hear me. Yes, hello and good morning, everyone. So, welcome to the second day. My name is Nico Kalivianakis. I'm Director of Business Solutions within Telefonica for the B2B market here in Germany. And today we want to speak about exploring 5G digital services for business success, from concept to reality, and how we have done this. So the presentation is working. If we talk about 5G, and it's not only significantly more in performance towards 4G, I believe what is really important is, beside all these KPIs, what you for sure know, let's say the 1 to 3 milliseconds in latency about this kind of networks, that you use much less energy and power to run this kind of networks, that you can be 100 times faster than 4G, but it's all about that you can connect millions and millions of IoT devices to this kind of networks, and doing this with the bandwidth of 20 gigabit per second as a maximum speed, we can actually speak about a paradigm shift. We can actually speak about groundbreaking technology. So I'm a little bit sad that it's called 5G, to be honest, because of this digital transformation, what can be behind. If you use an example to describe this, I would say it's around, if you think back around 15 years, the first iPhone comes out. Before that, you could browse somehow the web. Before that, you can send a picture. Before that, you can send some messages. But what comes with the iPhone was the App Store and all these kind of applications. And adding the bandwidth to this, all the magic suddenly happened. And I really strongly believe exactly this will be the case with 5G moving forward. So what is maybe some features who enable these new use cases? If you think in this triangle, you can see, if you go from right to left, you can think about massive IoT scale out. So smart cities becoming a reality, and you can bring millions of devices into this network and secure them. On the other hand, you have really a lot of use cases who consist real-time applications and real-time reaction with low latency. And of course, you have this massive use cases with a lot of data and high-density data. So bringing all this together, you can serve all of them from these 5G networks. This is really allowing you video streaming, video cameras, smart building applications. On the other hand, you can go into entertainment, home entertainment, remote working use cases, virtual and augmented reality, who becomes real, who becomes live, where you can walk around the city and explore all this kind of new impressions, let's say. Especially in the health, digital health will be a huge topic. Where will you see remote assistance? You will see virtual hospitals, what you can use over the time. So there is many exciting things in front of us. Especially Industrial 4.0, and I will talk about some examples there, as well as energy and consumption use cases are driving and profiting from this kind of new era. So what we are doing within Telefonica, and we have built this new unit here for Germany in order to serve exactly 3 pillars. So we are serving cloud and security, talking about SD-WAN networks, and also putting a lot of emphasis about the security of this kind of networks. The second pillar is IoT, where we have a homegrown business over the last 15 years, very solid, and expanding this towards the new use cases and towards the 5G networks. And then the third pillar is 5G as a campus, private campus networks, what we bring to customers, bring to life based on their use cases and their requirements. And I said before, the partner landscape is really important to this, because we will not build all these kind of applications. This is the new era where the partner will explore themselves, the customer will do this themselves as well, and come up with the most valuable use cases and applications for that. Every time we keep in mind, we want a cost down consolidation and bringing costs down what is really working, but in the same time a value up situation where the value comes from the additional services and the new use cases. So we are preparing ourselves to be the partner of choice over time, to be expert in this digital area, and build over time flexible product and solution as a global player within Telefonica. So coming to some first use cases, this is basically really what we receive from the customer every week. So every week we talk about digital new products, some areas where we explore this kind of services. And you will see that, for instance, on-demand productions with high personalization is leading this field, because cabling is just holding you back. You need the flexibility to move things around, to be flexible into your production. Another topic is complex machine data. Machine-to-machine communication in a complex environment, but also in a highly secure environment where you can't afford to lose this kind of data, you can't afford to have downtimes, you can't afford to have interruptions in these operations. The same we see in production and logistics systems across the customer. If it comes down to Industry 4.0 use cases, we see global logistic chains who becomes critical, because it's not only about the location and the positioning data, it's about connecting this back to the cloud applications, have a traceable end-to-end visibility, and be able to support your logistic chain application across the globe about over a long distance until it receives to the customer. We see energy cost and sustainability use cases, and the last but not least is the lack of qualified personnel, men and women power, what we have in the country. So means that drone use cases becomes more efficient, becomes a wider scope, where you will see a lot of drone use cases implemented not only on delivering, not only on security use cases or on inspection use cases. So this is very generalistical speak, what we receive today and the discussions we have. So basically the question is what we have done, yeah? And I bring you today 6 examples from private 5G networks, what we have implemented. These are 6 examples, what is live today, what we have bring into production, and we worked close the last 6 to 7 months with the customer to enable them. And it starts with the Helios Kliniken, for instance, yeah, the hospitals. We implemented there a private 5G campus network for their new modern infrastructure. So means really to have this wide area, this campus network, what you can now deploy the 5G technology in order to have the positioning, have the coverage over the entire campus, be able to track all the different kind of assets to understand when assets are leaving the campus, but also build new processes and build new applications around this network. The second example is the TUM in Munich, so Technical University Munich. We have implemented there a teledriving remote steering for forklifters, Industry 4.0 use case in the R&D department. So the network is there, and you are able, remote from another city. We even exercised this at Hannover Messe, where we was sitting at the Hannover Messe and remotely was executing the performance of the forklifters in Munich. You are able to drive them, to store, to unlock things, and you can even with one driver, let's say, connect to 20 of these vehicles. So you can even think about new business models where you have a shared desk, a shared service, and you are driving this kind of forklifters. The third example is Prinzhorn Group. Prinzhorn is one of the European leading companies in the packaging industry. So they're producing paper, basically. And so it's an example not from a high-tech company, right? But it was cheaper for them to go with a private 5G campus network over this huge campus what they have in order to be reachable to all the machines, to build the new processes within this secure network and to communicate basically secure with their B2B partners in receiving the goods but also sending the goods. With Nexaro, we have an example about some IoT use case or a massive IoT case where you have vacuum cleaner called cobots. So these are the first cobots, and Nexaro is a subsidiary of Vorwerk, where you don't have this kind of size of robot who is industrial cleaning. So this have, let's say, a normal size of robot with their own positioning system and with a cloud application underneath where you can manage centrally all this kind of robots and doing a massive industrial cleaning fleet, let's say, to serve your purposes. Nexaro is deploying 50,000 of these cobots for the next 2 years. At Dataport, we have a 5G campus network live for smart city applications for their customer. And with Halcyon, we have also a nice example where it comes out of our Vira environment. And Vira is our incubator for startups, where we built with them together a sensor-based smart building and digital twin for offices. So basically, you get a digital twin of your office, and you can measure the air quality, the occupation of the rooms, empty spaces, you can reallocate, and you have a lot of data what was previously not that easy. We are using this ourselves, so Halcyon, you can visit us in Munich at the tower, you can see it on every floor about the availability of the building. So with that, if I summarize what is actually the advantages to going into this direction, we can basically say that security, data prioritization, mobility, and seamless handover. These are the advantages what we can build into these applications, what was not possible in that scale before. And I believe that Telefonica is really very good into this, into adapting to the customer strategy. So if you want to remember something, it's about we are open. We are really open to adapt what the customer wants. If he wants a complete managed service, we will provide it. If he wants a co-shared model, we will provide it. If he wants to start with a private network, campus network, and then share on the public side, by the way, we have in Germany in our network around 80% now covered with 5G capabilities, we will be able to unlock them and provide them in a mixed environment to run their workloads. Finally, I want to deep dive a little bit in one specific use case, and it's a drone use case. So this is actually with a very successful partnership, what we have done with Amand Live in several countries, and have bring this productive, first of all, at our headquarters in Madrid. Amand Live is also coming up from the Vira startup incubator scene, where we bring the drone use case to an end-to-end scenario. Here you can see the challenges was the monitoring of 24/7 of the entire campus, bring down the false alarms, and transmit these videos to a central security base in order to explore what happened and analyze there. We implement this entire case with 2 autonomous drones who are frequently flying over the campus, doing all this analysis, bringing the data back completely automatically with AI face recognition and a seamless integration to the command center. This is all executed on the public 5G connectivity network around the campus. So the advantages was really 80 times faster responses to incidents, 35% savings in the operational costs compared to previously, 66% bringing down the time of the monitoring activities themselves, and 50 times more efficiency in these monitoring capabilities. But on top, and this is also what you find out with the customer when you speak with them, is deploying 3-4 use cases bring additional use cases with them because the network is there, the scale is there, and you can add capacity. So on top, for instance, we did inspection of the PV systems on the roof. How does it look like? And to give a little bit more feeling how this is implemented at the headquarters, I have bring you a short video of 2 minutes where I think if it plays, we can see how it looks in reality. We have implemented this at headquarters. We are with this solution in several countries. We have a demo kit here in Germany where we go now to customers and say, let's do a POC, let's show you this kind of capabilities live in your environment. I think with that, I hope that I give you a little bit some ideas, some inspiration around what we're doing today, that this is all available. This is up to how you use the technology and what kind of problems you want to solve. But I believe much more interesting and important is your own imagination, what you can do with this kind of capabilities, how you can support your customer during this journey. And this is a huge opportunity in front of us. And I'm really excited to be part of this journey and to work with as many partners as we can together. Thank you very much.
I think there could be
Yes.
Have you got a database of all Spain people?
No, for sure not. I mean, this is implemented on the HQ campus. I don't know really the details. I mean, the point is, it's possible to have this AI, artificial intelligence recognition in the system. So how you go to use it is completely up to the company. If it's a security environment, for instance, on a private campus, maybe you use it to store it and to give it to the police if something happened, for instance. I don't think it's like a border control somewhere where it's really then matching up some data, giving you are allowed to go in or out. It's a security use case.
Thank you.
Over there.
I seem to have a question. What is the mixture, if you will, between private 5G and your, let's call it, subscriber public 5G network? Is it that you build a complete RAN that's standalone with its own core? Or do you say, okay, some of our existing network is used in a private environment? Where's the demarcation between true private, or some sort of hybrid with your existing public network? Because obviously there's quality or performance issues by bringing a private network into the public network. Yeah.
No, absolutely. Thanks for the question. So I believe at the moment we are on this journey, defining what is really what the customer wants. So there are some use cases where the customer really requires only, we want from the public 5G spectrum a slicing or a dedicated line, let's say, in order to bring some data online. In these cases, we all really talked about private 5G campus networks, where you have completely isolated your own campus on 5G technology. And we see then more often that they want also to bring the signal back into the backbone and then combine it with the hybrid mode to the public net. It's possible. It's not even very difficult, but it really depends if you want, for instance, to build this only on 5G. To give an example, we have the largest SD-WAN customer. What we have today is around 10,000 sites in Germany, one of the leading retailers. And we see that we start with SD-WAN and then we add WLAN capabilities, go to an SDX architecture. Now we are talking also to a private 5G campus network. So it's with software-defined networks, you're allowed to think in a smart way, where do you want to route the data over and then have the best out of your network, basically. So it depends. And we are open to have this kind of technology.
Over there.
One further one on this topic. You've explained quite a lot on the front end and access capabilities of the system and your focus. What about the back end perspective? Yeah? Looking, for example, into the drone use case and the question that was there with personal identification and incident identification and so forth. How to link up that information? Do you have an API infrastructure that you are using for that? Or is it something where you say, okay, here we rely on partners to basically cover that part? What is your approach on the backend side?
It's a fantastic question. It's a fantastic question because there's a very beautiful answer to this. This is extremely important, what you said. And if you see, for instance, the last MWC in Barcelona, we announced, not Telefonica, so a lot of carriers together, and we are part of them leading this, announcing the Open Gateway technology, where you get access to the telco networks, especially for 5G use cases. They have opened this up with 8 APIs. There's standardized 8 APIs, and the question behind this is to enable partners to develop against these APIs, to develop 5G applications. Like you said, they instantly talked about banking and insurance use cases, that you get automatically from a 5G network this kind of information to identify yourself without locking, without anything, because maybe your face recognition, I don't know how they implement this, the banks, but the APIs will be there, the carrier will support this to bring this kind, what is officially allowed as information, to life.
Any more questions? don't see any fingers. But could you build a bridge in between Helios and the 6G Health Institute we had yesterday? Are these different showcases, or is it e-health at all?
It's completely different use cases.
Okay.
Yesterday I was presenting at a RU Summit in Bochum on digital health, for instance. So we are really focusing on digital health with a lot of Krankenhaus use cases, hospitality use cases, because there will be a lot of use cases like a digital twin infrastructure for hospitals. And if you see, for instance, we don't have enough doctors around in the country except in the cities. In the cities, it's good, but the coverage outside is quite bad. So there is a lot of thinking how to bring on the metaverse-like infrastructure people to the hospital in a trusted environment to do first diagnosis, to serve with the first, let's say, medicine remotely. And there is a lot of good things, I believe, what will help society.
Thank you very much, Nico. I think you gave us a lot of impressions to write about. So I noted 5 or 6 of them. So thank you very much.